In Bernard Dan's editorial, benevolent ableism is still ableism, objectification, and inspiration porn. Ableism is defined as prejudice against people with disabilities, rooted in the belief that they are inferior. It takes many forms, such as avoidance and verbal abuse, to systemic barriers in society structures, policies, and practices, often excluding disabled individuals from equal access to healthcare, education, leisure, and employment. A study of 185 adults with different disabilities found common issues like unsolicited help, infantilization, and pity can all arise from incorrect assumptions about their abilities. We sat down with faculty and students of the University of Cincinnati to discuss the pros, cons, the good and the bad of what it's like living with a disability on and off campus. The students and staff interviewed represent some of the campus body but do not represent the university's opinions. The interviewees' statements should not be treated as fact or on behalf of the University of Cincinnati.
My name is Jacob Counts. I am the University of Cincinnati's Adaptive Athletics Coordinator.
My name is Camilla Gilbert. I'm the Access Coordinator here at UC.
My name is Pheobe. I am second year political science major, and I'm also doing Deaf and Disability Studies certificates.
I am Kenta. I am a non-speaking autistic person, and I study geology at UC.
What is Adaptive Athletics Department and your role as the coordinator?
So adaptive athletics in general is a pretty broad term where you'll kind of encompass a lot of your Paralympic sports. At the University of Cincinnati, we launched our program roughly 2 years ago, and we started with a wheelchair tennis team and a para-track and field team. Just adaptive athletics in general are definitely a growing space, but there's a lot of room for development. One of the things that makes UC unique is the fact that they have an adaptive athletics program at all. There's very few in the country. So it's really an area where, as adaptive sports practitioners, we really need to develop that collegiate space and provide pathways for, kids that want to make it to the next level. It's kind of interesting, we started this program and, university is like a little city. So it's really been a pretty good collaborative effort to let's take something new and then find a space for it and help the program develop. So it's been a really positive experience. I'm stoked to be at UC.
How have you seen inequality throughout your life?
Well, that's a deep question, right? For me, as a deaf person with a rarity, I've seen people assume. In regards to racial microaggression, it's different, right? With disability, it's more of subtle, right? So it can be oh, I didn't know you had a hearing loss, or you're an inspiration, right? Which seems like a compliment, but it just shows how society views disability. I haven't really been discriminated against that I can think of. It's more about the assumptions. So for me, they assume because I identify as being deaf, they think I know sign language, which is that's not my case.
Have you, since getting older and being more immersed within the disability community in general, have you started to try and connect with the deaf community and learn bits of sign language and things like that?
Yeah, I actually attended Cincinnati State for the interpreter training program. So I do know some sign language, but to be honest with you, I still get a little fearful for that community because I dismissed it so long ago. Most deaf people are very proud of their culture, their identity, as they should be as a Black woman, right? But for me, I didn't get that opportunity younger. So sometimes, it's a game of double dutch.
My, entrance into the disability world would be one through myself, but also through my uncle, who he also is an individual with an intellectual disability and a mental disability, and he also has. And so for me, I also grew up as someone who's hard of hearing, and that experience, I think, really kind of contributed to like how I think I've seen myself through academically and like interpersonally, because I was the like only like one of two kids with that either deaf or hard of hearing in the area that I lived in. I lived in a town of about like 2,000 people, very small town. I have bilateral sensorineural hearing loss, which pretty much means that it is on both ears and it is like in the inner ear, and not like middle or outer ear. It's like inner ear, and it's like more permanent. I know that UC is currently bound by the restrictions placed on them by Senate Bill 1 and House Resolution 1. I think that UC could stand to take a better stance for the students that, like the minority students it has, or for the students, not even just students with disabilities, but just in general. However, as an institution, it's their responsibility to stand up for their students.
Yeah, absolutely.
And currently, that's not something I'm seeing them do as much.
First of all, we should strive toward equity, not equality. I think we need to work toward building a more equitable culture that goes beyond a compliance-driven approach. The first step is for our leadership to communicate our commitment and current efforts more effectively. At the moment, I haven't seen much communication specifically about disabled students, and I think more visibility in this area would make a meaningful difference. The truth is that I am entitled to more accommodation than what the Accessibility Office lists. At UC, support and understanding is only within the Accessibility Office, and there is only limited cultural understanding.
Some disabled individuals may accept ableist attitudes to navigate an inaccessible world, or internalize negative beliefs, which reinforces an unjust system and limits autonomy. Others may adopt the role of being inspirational to find meaning or justify unequal treatment. Combating ableism, including its benevolent forms, requires ongoing awareness and deliberate action to dismantle unconscious prejudice. Addressing these biases is vital for creating a truly inclusive society that respects the dignity and potential of all individuals.
Have you witnessed or personally faced discrimination or exclusion based on your disability?
People want to be like accepting and accommodating of people with different levels of ability or whatever it is in general. It's a little more subtle than that. I would say the main thing I face every day is just general people's like uncomfortability, being uncomfortable around people with disabilities. I think is kind of the main thing, or just being so like wrapped up in that disability where like I can tell they're not even seeing the person there. With that said, I've worked in schools for the last decade, and I feel like each generation gets a little more accepting in America of like the differences we have. I think a lot of it just kind of comes down to the golden rule, like think how you would want to be treated. And I think we've all been in spaces where the person is different, and we've all had experiences where we were uncomfortable in those spaces, and we all have probably, I would hope, would have experiences where we were made to feel welcome and comfortable in those situations. And I think a lot of it's thinking like, what did people do to make you feel comfortable and feel accepted? And I think that's a big part of it. I would identify as a disabled person, and I'm like proud to have a disability, and I feel like that gives me like a unique perspective. I love to be around disabled people. I love to be part of the community. I love adaptive sports for that. So yeah, I'm disabled and I'm fine with that.
Able-bodied, it shames the dominant culture because that's a touchy word.
Yeah.
Able-bodied, that's a touchy word. I like able-bodied because it's different. I can say non-disabled or typical, but sometimes you have to get a reaction from dominant culture to get some change. So if you need to say able-bodied, say able-bodied. Everyone doesn't learn the same. And the expert of their disability is the person. the good resource is the person with the disability.
Yeah.
Remember that they are the expert for the disability. The thing is, people who don't have a disability don't get it unless it affects them directly or someone that they love. That's when they'll get it. And sadly or unfortunately, if you live long enough, you will get a disability.
Yeah.
It can be invisible or physical.
In like deaf culture and the deaf community, a lot of deaf people don't like to be seen as disabled. My identity gives me a lot of privilege. Like, and I'm able to say that, I acknowledge that because, like, also, I'm white. My identity gives me a lot of privilege, especially the way that I present. Because I can get away with, like, people not really realizing I'm hard of hearing. I would just say, like, it's a lot of the discrimination comes from, like, microaggressions. It's like that, or like that assumption of, like, oh, if you do that, I can do anything. There's a TED Talk by Stella Young, and it's called "I'm Not Your Inspiration."
Oh, yes.
And she talked, and it's called like Inspiration Point, where it's like able-bodied people are like getting off on like the fact that like, oh well, if you can do this, then I can do anything.
I read the book, The Anti-Ableist Manifesto. She read that one, and she talks about that in there. The book, it's by Tiffany Yu.
Okay.
It's really good, and she talks about that a lot of like you shouldn't like view me as an inspiration, you should just view me as a person.
I think UC can improve anti-discrimination against disabled individuals by focusing on building a more respectful and inclusive culture, rather than just policing behaviors or enforcing anti-discrimination rules. Simply complying with the ADA or other laws and rules doesn't go very far on its own. What really matters is leadership that openly talks about disability inclusion and sets the tone for a campus where disabled students are valued and respected. Nothing about us without us. If UC wants to build systems, spaces, and policies that work for everyone, they need to collaborate directly with the people who are most affected. I also hope they go beyond just sending surveys. Real inclusion means ongoing conversations, co-design sessions, and giving disabled students meaningful influence over decisions that shape their experience.
Tiffany Yu shared a lot of the same sentiments in her book, The Anti-Ableist Manifesto, such as benevolent ableism and the impact it has on disabled individuals, how societal structures, media representation, and unconscious biases contribute to the marginalization and objectification of people with disabilities, and the importance of moving beyond surface-level positive attitudes, such as pity or exaggerated praise, and instead advocate for genuine inclusion, respect, and the dismantling of systemic barriers. These shared sentiments emphasize the need for ongoing awareness and intentional action to create a society that truly values all of its members.
You saying about the elevator?
Oh, where's the elevator? There's no elevator.
There's no elevator in this Cincinnati UC garage. The only thing there is this.